about Leopold's Book Bar Cafe. It's Madison's bookstore for night owls, open till midnight every night. They've got lunch now, and starting next month, dinner next door at their sister restaurant, Fabiola's Spaghetti House and Deli. Leopold's is also perfect for holiday gifts, by the way, with over 5,000 books and hundreds of wines. Head over to Greenbush and stop in at Leopold's. Today on City Cast Madison. It's the Friday News Roundup. This week, I'm joined by City Cast Madison's sterling newsletter editor, Hayley Sperling, to do a special end of the year and look ahead roundup. We're talking Madison resolutions, plus a few kudos to some Madison heroes. It's Friday, December 22nd. I'm Bianca Martin, and here's what Madison's talking about. Hayley! It's the end of 2023.
It's finally here. It's finally over. Almost. We got a few days left.
Almost. It has been a heck of a year, to say the least.
Yeah, that is true. You can say that again.
Yeah. It's been a heck of a year. And what's exciting is, you get to look back and reflect on how everything's gone and also look ahead and, like everyone else, make resolutions. And we've pulled together some resolutions we've been asking y'all, to send us yours. We got some in, so we'll talk about those. But what do we want to see in Madison in 2024?
That is a big and lofty question.
So big and so lofty.
I think one thing that a lot of people can relate to is that they would like to see some lower rent prices. I don't think that's going to happen in 2024 necessarily, but I do think that there is a very strong possibility for our city to add a lot of new affordable housing units, as it's been doing for a lot of 2023. Love to give the city a little shout out there, because this is something that has been teetering on the edge of a crisis, and we are kind of full blown in a housing crisis at this moment. So it's inspiring to see the city do more. I hope to see them do more, and I hope to see them, do more with what we have. One of my New Year's resolutions is to get a little bit more thrifty. I want to spend some more time at our local Goodwills and our local thrift stores and furnish my own apartment with some thrifted goodness and just, feel good in my home, because I love my apartment and I love a lot of things about it, but there's definitely room to grow here, and there's some room for change. And so I'm excited to do some change in the new year, but hopefully not have a major economic or environmental impact. So you can find me at Goodwill in 2024 and all the time.
I will happily find you at Goodwill literally anytime. Let's leave right now. Let's go now.
Let's go. Who's got a truck? I want to haul some big furniture pieces. That is part of this resolution, is making friends who have trucks.
For sure. What's cool is we get to look in retrospect. So we've been a show for a year now, which is really dope. And so we actually did a resolutions conversation a year ago, which we both listened to and got to reflect on. And increasing affordable housing was one of the main points that a few people left us, some aldermen, and it's on the top of everyone's mind for sure. And one point is increasing affordable housing around bus stops, opportunities to access transit. That was a big thing. So I love that resolution.
Got it coming.
And it's coming.
And the buses are coming. So it's happening. It's all happening slowly but surely, but it is happening.
Yes. One resolution that I have related to Madison, or something that I would like to see, is more support behind efforts to remediate our lakes. It ties into a personal resolution that I've had for myself for many years, which is to become like a swimmer.
Ooh.
I love to swim, but our lakes are gross. They're horrible sometimes.
So gross.
With algae blooms. It was really exciting this year to see the nonprofit Clean Lakes Alliance form a partnership with the Ho-Chunk Nation, specifically to tap like ancient wisdom and knowledge of the lakes and the watershed to combat this like toxic phosphorus runoff. And so I resolved to be a part of educating myself and learning more about the efforts in our watershed, the Yahara watershed that encompasses Lake Mendota, Monona, Wingra, Wabesa, Kanganza, as well as the Yahara River that flows between them. So that's a big one. Also, this is like front of mind for me because I was invited to a storytelling event this year. Mad City Story Slam invited me to a water protectors story slam event. And I heard a woman come forward, just really courageous and vulnerable, to share about she developed 2 health conditions from swimming, like during an algae bloom.
Oh my God.
Yeah. And like that stuff it like attacks the liver and the nervous system. And she talked about like skin coming off, and like she now has these lifelong, I know this isn't, but like the lifelong conditions that she has to live with and move forward. And she's like, I love the water so much. And the water ended up becoming not my friend. And that was really, something super challenging. And so she's like out here still fighting for the water. So I want to fight for the water. That's my number one.
I love that. That's awesome. Being from Minnesota, the land of 10,000 lakes, like coming to Madison, it felt good, right? Because we're right on the water. We're in Isthmus, of course. And then it was like kind of just such a bummer to be like, you really can't use these lakes, like unless you've got like friends with boats or something and you can get like out into the middle of it. But like it's hard to just like use it every day as a local citizen. I just think of like there was one local journalist who tweeted like, yes, another like blistering hot day in Madison surrounded by several lakes that we cannot use. And I think about it often. And I hope that we get all the right players involved to get this story going and make this resolution a reality, because that would be huge for everyone.
Yes. Also, like, I have to say, whatever I hear someone say from Minnesota, the Minnesotans, that they have 10,000 lakes, is like, well, we have more than 10,000 lakes here. What do you say?
I think technically, like, Minnesota, it's like 11,500 something. Like, someone please fact check me on this. But, like, I know it is more than 10,000.
Fact check coming in. We've got 11,842 lakes in Minnesota, Wisconsin, 15,000 lakes. Again, feel free to fact check us, but we're lake mighty, so it friggin' stinks that we have to walk by those lakes and be like, well, I'd love to be in there.
And the fact that they are literally smelly, like they stink. They're stinky.
They stink. Unacceptable. What about you? Did you bring another resolution?
Yeah. So this one, actually, we did get a couple of resolutions come in from Madison Minutes readers, which I was very appreciative of. And one of our readers, Caitlin R., she wrote in and said that she would like to make more time to be creative, write, record, build, and just create. And I really like related to that, especially as someone whose like job it is to quote unquote create, writing the newsletter every day, being part of this podcast. Like it is creative. It is that, but also it is my professional job. It's my work. So I would love to find more time to be personally creative and fulfill that end of my being. I've recently started stocking up an art cart in my apartment. So I've got like paints.
Amazing.
And I've got hot glue gun, and I've got rhinestones, and I've got glitter all over my floor. So now I just need to like make something.
That is fair. Also, like going to all those thrift stores and like the vintage,
Yes.
That's one way I can need that creative energy. I need that. You will find me in a vintage shop.
Yes,
if I had
love
a day.
it. I love it. And honestly, hot tip too, like shop the craft section at the thrift stores, because that stuff is often just like very cheap. You know, you can get some like nice pens or like packaged canvas or whatnot for like very, very low cost. So we're getting thrifty in every way in 2024.
Yeah. Yes. And speaking of getting out of the house, someone from last year, Perry Govier, a software developer, left us a voicemail that I've thought about all year about like a resolution for the year, which is getting out of the house and leaving quote unquote goblin mode.
Yes.
I have to say, I didn't really totally nail that. I definitely was out a lot this summer, you know, hitting the scene, being out in the community, and I resolved to break my goblin mode wherever possible. And this is like just in the beginnings, but he's like, and let's also think about like that thing called a train that might come our way.
Trains.
I resolved for a train to come here and start setting tracks. I don't know if that'll happen next year, but like anything related to Amtrak coming here and connecting us to our friends and our families in other cities nearby, that would be pretty dope.
I think like the entire city of Madison is like collectively manifesting trains for 2024, 2025. And thankfully, like the wheels, I hate to say it, but like the wheels are turning, like things are moving. The city now has like money to study where we should put the train station. And, you know, the state now has money to examine, you know, more route options to get us to different places. So it's very exciting. The trains are, I don't want to say like they're pulling into the station, but like you can hear the little like choo-choo from far away. Like you're not hallucinating. It's coming. We did this. We all manifested.
We love a train. We love a train. Because it's like, you know, all of this, the work we do on City Cast Madison and with Madison Minutes, like we're trying to connect people to one another. So it's exciting, the opportunity to connect to people, you know, nearby. Also, I resolved to connect and build more community next year.
Try something new and like push yourself, right? We're gonna join roller derby in 2024, right?
Yes,
Bianca?
we are, y'all. We are going to join roller derby. We see you. We know you bad ladies are out about doing roller derby. We will find you and we will be joining you.
I'm trying to get like them. Madison is roller derby city, and I've managed to like stay away from it like for the 10 years that I've been here, but I'm ready to embrace it. I'm ready to do it. I'm ready to throw some hits.
Yes,
Let's get it all out.
Yeah, it's like this year has like left us full of rage and need an outlet. Yeah, I was gonna say the outlet that I have just was someone told me about is Discord, and that there's some like pop-in conversation for Madison folks there.
Interesting.
If you guys are on, you know, if you're a part of some of these communications and whatnot online, let us know where you're at, because I want to know. Like I want to be in the know. I want to join your guys' convos. Basically, I'm being nosy and I want community. So we're at Madison at citycast.fm if you want to send us an email. Attorney Z. Usman with Usman Law in Madison has helped thousands of folks fight back against abusive debt collectors. And he wants to help you too. The average interest rate on credit cards today is 25%. So, for example, if you charge $10,000, you're really going to owe a lot more than that in the end. If you only make minimum payments each month, you're going to be paying that off for longer than you realize. You'll end up paying more in interest than you borrowed to begin with. And nobody's got time for that. But there's help. Attorney Usman can help you figure out how long it'll take to pay off your debts. Then he can help you find ways to pay them off sooner and for less. To learn the easiest way to pay things off, visit madtownlawyer.com to schedule a free call with Attorney Usman, the finance fixer.
I'm Mo Rocca, and I'm excited to announce Season 4 of my podcast, Mobituaries. I've got a whole new bunch of stories to share with you about the most fascinating people and things who are no longer with us. From famous figures who died on the very same day, to the things I wish would die, like buffets. All that and much more. Listen to Mobituaries with Mo Rocca wherever you get your podcasts.
Did you have another one to throw?
Another. Well, so I wanted to bring up one more resolution that we got from a Madison Minutes reader. This one came from Molly C. And she said that in 2024, she is going to be voting in every single election and requesting all of her absentee ballots for the year in January. And I think that is a great idea. Molly, we should all be like you, and we should all get down our plan to vote. If you don't have a plan to vote, it's never too early to start thinking about it. We've got a big presidential election coming up. Obviously, there are local elections happening, and it's just good. It's good to be registered.
Yes.
And if you need to find out if you're registered or where to go to vote or what you need to vote in 2024, the state government has a great website resource, and we will be sure to put a link to that in our show notes. And it's never going to go out of style to be civically active. It's always on the in list. It's always on the hot list, like what's in, what's out for 2024. Voting is in. Voting has always been in. Do it. Not voting is not hot.
Yes, it's very unsexy to not vote. I feel like we should note, we wanted to share like our resolutions, and we have people to thank and people to apologize to. And I feel like I want to throw in the people I want to thank because it's relevant. I'm pushing this part of it up, which is I want to thank our city officials. Yes. Y'all are out here doing it. And I see it on the Instagrams. I get to see, I want to specifically Mayor Satya Rhodes Conway. We see you on a regular basis, meeting with groups, really diverse groups who are doing important work in Madison. And, having been a former government worker, it can feel thankless. And so I also wanted to shout out a couple, great things I saw from Alder Dina Nina Martinez Rutherford. Yes. Her work around creating or helping Madison become a transgender sanctuary city. Like, that work is vulnerable when you're talking about your identity with your work. Mm-hmm. Sabrina Madison, who also runs the Progress Center for Black Women that she started. She's out here. Like, I just wanted to shout them both out for their ability to advocate for things that also impact them personally, to be a leader on vulnerable issues like racism and transphobia, because those things are personal and it's not easy to do. Just friggin' shout outs to you guys. And I resolved to get to learn our city leaders better this year. And I'm so excited about that because it's, I feel grateful to be a part of this community and seeing the work that's being done.
I love that too. And I have a couple of like city shout outs too, because I also cover the city of Madison and we love it here. I think the CARES team deserves a huge shout out for the year 2023. For you, those who don't know, CARES is the Community Alternative Response Emergency Services team. So essentially, like, they'll go out and respond to like 911 calls that are primarily dealing with like mental health issues, so police don't have to get involved. And this started off as a pilot program and has just expanded so rapidly, and like they have done a lot of really great work and like have really I think done some really awesome things for the community. And it's really cool to see a program like that taking off in Madison, and like people prioritizing de-escalation efforts and people prioritizing community and people prioritizing care rather than, incarceration. They have responded to thousands and thousands of calls. And it's truly incredible, I think, the work that they're doing.
Thank you guys.
Yes, shout out to you. Shout out to more funding for y'all always. And also shout out to anyone that works at Metro and like specifically the bus drivers.
Yes!
Metro Transit went through literally like the biggest service change in the past, recent memory this year. And like that's huge. And like I know people were upset, that like it got off to a kind of a bumpy start, no pun intended. And shout out again, like to the Metro drivers who have been there from the start, who have been very flexible, who have been very patient, and who have just been helping us get to where we need to go. I think that's so important, and so important that y'all get some recognition. I appreciate you.
Yes.
Yes. I love it. I just had one last Madison shout out, and that is to the Monroe Street neighborhood for their Santas.
Yes. Oh God, I'm glad you brought this up.
Yes. If there's one thing that I love personally, it is commitment to the bit. And the whole neighborhood decided this year that they were going to commit to this bit. And for that, I say thank you. Shout out to you guys. Let's see how many Santas we can get next year. Let's go crazy. Let's get some 40-foot tall Santas in here. I don't know. Like, make it happen. Make it wild. You guys are setting the standards. Like, let's go. I love it. Like, let's get some. I want my neighborhood to do something cool. Like, I want the East Side to do more cool stuff. Like, let's go. Let's go.
Also, 2 people have told me there is now a Black Santa. There is now a Black Santa.
Heck yeah. Yeah. No, you go, Monroe Street. Let's go. And more Black Santas next year.
More Black Santas next year. And, before we wrap up, you have the brilliant idea. I love this. You're like, people to apologize for. That is setting the fudging example, Hayley Sperling. People should apologize more. I will resolve to do that for next year. And we have a couple apologies before we wrap.
Do you want to go first?
Yes, I do. I apologize to people who are gym rats. I am now officially a gym rat. I don't want to call myself a rat, but I misunderstood. This year, for the first time, I started weightlifting, and I am now going to a gym regularly, and I don't know. I guess I was just like, I don't understand these people. I don't think I was a huge hater, but I was enough of like that I just didn't understand it, and now I'm there on a regular basis. I am a gym raw, and I apologize to, I guess, for just not understanding them.
Mine is very similar, but I need to issue an apology to people who wear hats at the gym, because I have become one of you. And like you said, you weren't a hater on the gym rats. Like, I was a huge hater on like people who wore hats at the gym. I'm like, what are you hiding? There's no sun in here. You don't need a hat on. I get it now. I get it. I really do. It blocks the sweat. For me personally, like, my hair is really thick and really long, so it's hard for me to like put it up. So like the hat keeps everything where it needs to be. It keeps the sweat out of my eyes, and it keeps the world from perceiving me and me from perceiving the world. Because if there's one thing that I absolutely do not want, is to be perceived at the gym. So to people who wear hats at the gym, I am sorry. Thank you for letting me join your team, because I get it. And I appreciate you.
Yes. So we resolved to make fewer assumptions in the new year. You know what happens when you make assumptions. Hayley Sperling, you are a delight. Our newsletter editor, thank you.
Thank you. It's been a pleasure. It's been a great year of podcasts, and hopefully many, many more to come.
Yes. That's all for today here on City Cast Madison. As a quick note, we will be off Monday for the holiday. Back in your ears on Tuesday. I'm Bianca Martin, your host. Molly Stentz is your executive producer. This week, we're produced by Molly Stentz, Exandra McMahon, Elizabeth Kama, and me. Our theme music is by Carl Christensen. Our newsletter editor is Hayley Sperling. You can also get more news delivered right to your inbox by subscribing to our newsletter, Madison Minutes. And hey, if you enjoyed today's show, why not share this podcast with someone you know who's growth-oriented? All right, see you back here Tuesday morning. Happy holidays, y'all. Bye.